Morning, all. So I'm going to start the day off by doing the power rankings because on April the 1st, that just seems like the thing to do. Start the day with the power rankings, rank all 36 teams in the NHL, and then move about your day. So, number one, and undefeated since the All Star break, and I've been very surprised by the rise of the Anaheim Ducks. And I think what really did it was when during the All Star break they decided to re add Mighty to their name. Really seemed to give the guys confidence. Plus, the fact that they only score Michigan goals now, everybody, even Benoit had one the other night. I think that's great. Also, Gibson's 15 straight shutouts, probably helping Anaheim. So they're first this week. Number two, the Hartford Whalers. Whalers had a very good week this week. I mean, they lost that one game 16-3, but I mean, they didn't have a goalie. The goalie shortage has been something that I didn't expect, but I mean, it only affects the goalies, right? So it is what it is. The fact that the NHL is still playing the games, there's a lot of discussion about that, but who am I to argue? Number three, Toronto. Toronto had a decent week. Austin Matthews actually playing goal because of the goalie shortage kind of surprised me a bit, and then he still had a hat trick. So I guess that's the thing now. As the Leafs truly embrace positionless hockey, there are no goalies, there are no defensemen, there are no forwards. It's going to be interesting to see how it works in the playoffs. But I mean, when the other team's too busy laughing, they're not busy scoring, are they? Number four, the Philadelphia Flyers. Because John Tortorella told me that's where they belong. And Torts kind of scares me, so I'm not going to argue with Tortorella. Number five on the board is San Jose because they're Sharks, and you have to rank Sharks really highly because they're kind of scary. That's why I stay out of the ocean because Sharks. I think really San Jose, if they ever figure out how to play a hockey game in the ocean, San Jose's so winning that game. Number six, St. Louis. So the Blues, Panger, right? Panger coming out of retirement and helping during the goalie crisis has been great. And now there's a migration towards shorter goalies. My phone's been ringing, and I don't even play net. So congratulations, Panger, on helping all the rest of us. Showing that we short guys are still useful for something. And so I appreciate Panger for that. Number seven, the Winnipeg Jets, because I think what's really important with the Jets is ever since they all came out and they basically all did the public hug between everybody, and all of everything is forgotten. There's no more dislike in that room whatsoever. The play of the Winnipeg Jets has improved so much, and we'll see come playoff time whether or not Bob Essensa, goalie crisis, whether or not Essensa is going to be able to hold up. But so far, it seems like all that time off has really helped focus Bob Essensa's game. Also, number eight, Colorado. I mean, they're the Abs, right? So they kind of have to be number eight. We went over this on the channel. What was the perfect spot to put the Avalanche? And 100% said number eight. So there they are. Number nine, the Washington Capitals, because they're the Caps. With the goalie crisis, Don Beaupre coming out of retirement. And I think the best part is that it feels now like all the kids are asking me, who are these guys? And I'm like, yeah, I'm old. I can tell you who they are. And it feels kind of nice. It makes me feel like I'm relevant again for the first time in a long time. So it's definitely been good. Number 10, the Nashville Predators. Now, UC Saros, normally we talk about him being the shortest goalie in the league. With the goalie crisis, he's now one of the tallest goalies in the league, and he's still very good. So he's helped Nashville get into the top 10. There are some debates about whether or not they're going to have a banner for the fact that UC Saros is one of the taller goalies in the league. I'm not going to say they will, but I'm not going to say they won't either. Number 12 or number 11, doesn't matter. Buffalo, number 11. For the Sabres, this has been a long season. They had the 25-game winning streak to start the season. They've played 500 hockey since, and so they're just waiting for the playoffs. They intentionally lose every other game. I think it's a really bold strategy on their part to intentionally lose games. I didn't notice that it was Jeff Skinner's kid at first that was playing on the blue line the other night until he was checked by Tom Wilson, and I really thought Wilson should have been suspended for that. I mean, yeah, the kid's on the ice, but come on, Tom. Come on. Number 12, Montreal, because the C and the H are cool, right? It's a good logo. It's a fun logo. And they're the last Canadian team that won the Stanley Cup. So, woohoo, number 12. Number 13, the other last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup, which was 1990, the Edmonton Oilers. It's been tough since the McDavid trade. Like, I understand that Oiler fans were upset about what they got back from the Coyotes for McDavid. But, I mean, the future considerations are rumored to be Austin Matthews. So it's kind of a wait and see on that one. But, yeah, the Oilers, sorry, Leafs fans, you guys weren't supposed to see that part. Just, flashy, the Men in Black thing. But yeah, Oilers are number 13. Number 14, the Carolina Hurricanes. They've been hurt since the Whalers returned and took all their players, but they've still been good enough to beat about half the league. So that's saying something for A, the depth in the league, and B, might be an indictment for the depth of the league. But at any rate, yeah, Carolina's still winning enough to stay in the top 14 this week. Number 15, the Minnesota North Stars. So the Minnesota North Stars, it's been kind of awkward, and I'll put up number 16 because number 16 is the Minnesota Wild. I don't know whose decision it was to schedule their games at the same time in the same building, but it did make things awkward. So we had 5 minutes of a North Stars game, then 5 minutes of a Wild game, 5 minutes of a North Stars game, and just having all the ice cleaning and everything that had to be done in between, and then switching out the crowds because if you bought tickets for the North Stars game, you didn't buy tickets for the Wild game and vice versa. Bettman just said money when I called him about it and hung up. So money, I guess, but they've got to figure this out. They should have a second building or just not schedule their games at the same time. Just it seems so simple. Number 17 is Columbus. The Blue Jackets apparently changing their name to the Cannons, though the owners are still staying with this name. So the Columbus Cannons will not have a change in their logo. In fact, they're retiring the third jersey. They're really digging in, and they're going to cover up the Cannon shoulder patch too, because in apparently their words, they're not a big fan of mine, and so because I keep pushing for the Cannon jersey, they won't do it. Number 18, the Islanders, right around the middle. So since they expanded the playoffs to include 32 out of 36 teams, the Islanders are in really good shape to make the playoffs, and there really isn't any concern. But yeah, for the Islanders, the goalie thing has hit them. Billy Smith had a rough game the other night. Apparently, it was just too late. That was all he said. He's just too late at night, and he left. He's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. So they forgot he's kind of an ornery person as well. Number 19, Florida. Now, keep in mind that Florida, that's where everybody goes to retire. So with the goalie shortage, Florida's been able to find themselves some goalies down there in Florida. That is where most NHL goalies go after they've retired. But forwards and defensemen, they all left. I don't know what else to tell everybody. It's kind of a bizarre time to be a hockey fan. Number 20, the LA Kings, because Anaheim's number 1. Number 21, the Atlanta Thrashers, because it's nice to see Atlanta back in the NHL. I think that's fantastic for them. I think it's great for the city of Atlanta and the city of Calgary, seeing a huge boost to their economy with the return of the Thrashers as well. I'm not sure how that corridor is going to work, but kudos to them for figuring that out. Number 22, Pittsburgh, because we all know that I'm not a fan of the Penguins, so they can't be hired in 22nd. It's been a rule on the power rankings for a long time. It just is. Number 23, the Chicago Blackhawks. I didn't expect Denny Savard to come out and play for them the other night. I really didn't expect him in net. But again, you get all the hands you can find. And I've heard people say, why don't they just call goalies up from the AHL? Yeah, right. Go ahead. You be a GM. Man, so many armchair GMs these days. Number 24, Tucson. So with the move of the Coyotes to Tucson, they're now the Tucson Coyotes. There's some talk as well about Scottsdale. Might be Scottsdale, and then they might circle right back to Tempe. Also, a name just that they're deciding on, they might change their name to the Phoenix's Stupid Coyotes. That's an option apparently that they have. Or Sky Harbor Airport makes us Angry Coyotes. But that doesn't really roll off the tongue, so no idea. Number 25, the Ottawa Senators. The Sens, of course, considering changing their logo to something that's a cross between this and the 3D logo. I don't know how that's going to look, but it scares me, so I dropped them down from number 10 last week to number 25 because eventually their logo, I'm just going to take it off the board altogether. I don't think people watch the whole power rankings anyway, so I don't think anybody will notice when there's a team that's just not on the board. New York Rangers are number 26 because their logo, it's just boring, so why should they be higher? Number 27, the New Jersey Devils, because their logo is fantastic. It makes the other ones jealous, so there's no reason to have them higher than 27th. Number 28, the Big D. And the fact you can call it the Big D, that's why you got to drop that to 28. That's kind of offensive stuff. And so the Dallas Stars, part of what's hurt Dallas is that their players, half of them went to the Minnesota North Stars. A lot of Wild players went as well. And then for some reason they took a handful of San Jose Sharks as well and said this time it's personal. I don't even know what that meant. So Dallas ends up 28 this week. That loss the other night where they were ahead 5-0 and they lost 26-5 didn't help. Number 9, I don't know, or number 29. I don't know how you do that in overtime. I don't know how you allow 20 goals in overtime, but Dallas found a way to do it. Number 29 is Tampa. Tampa Bay Lightning, I think it's obnoxious how many Stanley Cups they've had over the last 5 years. They've been in the finals 3 times in a row. It's enough. It's enough. I called Gary and told him we're done. That's enough. No more. Number 30, the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas, of course, there was the minor scandal with the Vegas Golden Knights last week. I can't really get into it. All I can say is I don't know who those people were or why they were wearing THD t-shirts, and I don't know where the ice surface went. I had nothing to do with it, but they seem to really excel at the roller hockey, which is good because they're currently 30th on the board. Number 31, the Quebec Nordiques. You know, it's funny. We were all yelling so much about the Quebec Nordiques, and we should get Quebec back, that they returned, and we didn't notice. Quebec's been playing for the last 3 years, and they just weren't being tracked in the standings, and here they are. So I'm embarrassed. Quebec, congratulations on getting your team back. I wish we as hockey fans had noticed sooner. Number 32 is Calgary because they beat Vancouver last night, and I'm petty. And also because the Black Sea has been retired, and I think that's criminal. Also because, the Atlanta Flames should have come back as well with the Atlanta Thrashers, and I'm petty. So there's that. Number 33, Seattle, because Kraken isn't a real thing. So since there's no such real thing as a Kraken, it's been interesting since hockey players were informed of this and decided to boycott signing with the Seattle Kraken. And Seattle digging in and saying we're not changing our names. One of the running names was the Seattle McSeattle Faces. Really shouldn't open those up to the public. But yeah, the Seattle Kraken, again, until they change their name, odds are we're not going to see any players going there. Speaking of which, number 34, Detroit Red Wings. When asked what a Red Wing was, I thought it was interesting that Yzerman couldn't answer the question. Got really sweaty and then saw himself out of the press conference. Definitely not his proudest moment, but I mean, what are you going to do? It's Steve Yzerman. The guy's known for public gaffes and for speaking out of turn. He was really always a temperamental player. All those suspensions and everything, really. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of Yzerman. Yep. Number 35 is the Vancouver Canucks because disappointment is eternal, and in any universe, it's still there, and it will cause the weeping and the gnashing of teeth. So the Vancouver Canucks, number 35 on the board. I don't have to say much else. Since Pettersson and Hughes traded themselves to the Devils, I still don't know how that worked. And the Canucks got nothing back in that. And I mean, Bettman said he would investigate it when I called him, but he said something about doofus when he was hanging up the phone. I think he thought he was already off the call. Number 36, Boston. They haven't won a game since March. So how do you justify having them any higher on this board when they haven't won a game since March? So I figured that, with this being April 1st and all, you guys deserve to see a real and true power rankings to start out your day. All right, there you go. So, of course, the regular puck board that I would use, I can't find it. It's I think one of the cats took it. But at any rate, I'll probably find it by tonight, and if I do, maybe I'll do an updated version of this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hey, happy April 1st. I will talk to you guys again soon.